Yes, you read that right. Snakes, sounds, and the Super Bowl, and you and your business. Snakes, sounds, and the Super Bowl, and you and your business. And that's a program on the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. Stan, what are you doing? What's that all about? That doesn't make sense. Well, it really does. But perhaps now I've got you interested in just how I'm going to work my way out of this. Well, I'm glad you're asking, because if you'll just give me about a few minutes today, I'm going to start a 4-part series on how to help you build your business by actually imagining that you had the opportunity to do your business, your service, the thing that you offer to the world on the Sunday Super Bowl, and you could reach 150 million people. If you had that opportunity, what would you do? I bet you don't know. Well, if you'll stick with us for a few days, we'll teach you exactly what to do. I'm Stan Houston. This is the Christian Entrepreneur Network. The program is our flagship. It is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, and it's for you, and it starts right now. Indeed, we are back. Once again, my name is Stan Houston. I am the co-founder and the leader of what we call the Christian Entrepreneur Network. We're about 1 year old, going and growing, and we want you to be a player, a participator, perhaps a promoter, and somebody who we believe can even profit from this wonderful experience. The Christian Entrepreneur Network, you can reach us at our hangout on the online world at tcenglobal.org, tcenglobal.org. Our studio is located right now in kind of a warm and sunny place, unlike most places in the United States, right on Route 77. Route 77 in the southwestern state of Arizona. Studio 1 for What It Takes Radio, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, right on Route 77. And you can reach us at RadioEdge77 at gmail.com, RadioEdge77 at gmail.com. And now let's get to the program. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, and let's talk about snakes, and let's talk about sound, and let's talk about Jesus. Jesus was an entrepreneur because he was just like you and me. Jesus was a real human being. A lot of people, I think, get it wrong. They kind of think, well, what he was he was God kind of dressed up as a human being. No, Scripture is quite clear about that. He became not just among us. He did not come to be with us. He came to be one of us. And he's real. He's a real human being. And he had to make his way in a world that was not very nice. And if you think today's world is kind of rough, rugged, and tough, it was just as rough, rugged, and tough, and probably even more so in the days when Jesus walked his way. He was real human. And we not only believe that he was here to give us counsel on how to be saved, but to join him in the kingdom of God, to be able to live in God's haven, and to enjoy God's love forever. Yes, and you are also to learn how to live right now, today, on planet Earth. He wanted us to be fully alive, forever, starting now. So Jesus came not only to do all of that good work, but he came to teach us how to live, how to do our work, how to do our business, how to do our family, how to do our relationships, how to do the government and all the other stuff that comes into our lives. He was betrayed. You will be betrayed too. He knows exactly what it's like. He knows what it's like to be afraid. He said, Father, hey, I'd rather not go through this. And he knows what it's like to live. And I oftentimes believe that there is something about him that really overwhelmed people from time to time. Yeah, he was, as that rock opera said, kind of a superstar, kind of a rock star. People followed him. And he was teaching us the ways that we could learn how to make it here on planet Earth. And he healed. He cared. He showed compassion. He shocked people. And in one of his expressions that one of my mentors, the great teacher, Fulton Sheen, said is one of the more unique and powerful descriptions of Jesus. He's got that wonderful description which kind of takes us off guard. He said, you're going to have to learn how to be savvy. I want you to learn how to be as wise as a serpent. That's a snake. Maybe it sounds a little nicer, but that's a snake. Wise and savvy as a snake, and gentle as a dove. Think about that now. These are not my words. This is not some prosperity gospel preacher. This is Jesus saying, I want you to walk into the world. And you're going to meet a lot of people, just like I'm meeting a lot of people. Some of them need my help. Some of them wish me well. Some of them wish me ill. And watch how I do my life and work among those who need me, those who love me, and those who want to destroy me. And so he has this lesson. You're going to have to learn how to be, wise, savvy, street smart, as that wily serpent, and at the same time, gentle as the bird, the lovely dove. Now, if I'm listening to Jesus, first of all, if I'm his guy sitting there hearing this, there's a part of me that says, what do you mean by that? And then, how do you do that? And then I can see him say, follow me, Stan. Just follow me. Watch me. Learn from me. And I'll show you how. So the first thing we're talking about with snakes, sounds, and Super Bowl is that we have a new appreciation for the wisdom and the wonder of Jesus. But now let's walk into our world. And in 4 or 5 days, there's going to be a major commercial event in which millions and millions and millions and millions of commercial dollars are spent on a football game. Now, what I want to do is just have a little fun with you, and I've done this for years because I'm teaching people that here is a better way than any strategic planning. How many of you have gone through a strategic planning session? I have. I've even led them. Let me tell you what is true. They are today a waste of time. Anybody who thinks that they can plan strategy in any significant sense beyond 6 months to a year is fooling themselves. You're not very wise. But here we go. What if this were actually the case? Now, here you have the situation. You've got to figure out what to do. And like I pointed out, people were always trying to, the foxes were always trying to outfox Jesus, and he outfoxed them all the time. It just drove them crazy. But here you are in the midst of this really tough marketplace, tough to do business. It's hard. As one person said, running your own business today is probably some of the hardest work in the world. And so here you are, and let's say something like this happens. It's a make-believe story. All of a sudden you discover that someone calls you up and they tell you that, in effect, something terrible has happened, but something good has happened. And it turns out that why they're calling you is that you had a long-lost uncle. We just call him Joe. Uncle Joe, he was your mother's youngest brother. And at an early age, many, many years ago, he left his hometown where most of you stuck around. You may have moved into the next big city, but he went far, far away. He went way out to the state of California in the United States, which was kind of far away from where all the rest of the family lived. And he kind of disappeared. We didn't hear much from him. He never married. Occasionally he would show up, and he seemingly was doing quite well, but he was a bit eccentric. No family, had seen few friends, but he would show up occasionally. And you always wondered what he was up to. You hoped it was right. Now, you, being an entrepreneur, you're kind of, you're a little more courageous about that. So you tried to get to know him a little bit more, and whenever you could, you sometimes even gave him a call. And you would send him a card from time to time. And if you just happened to be in his hometown, you always made a point of dropping in and taking him out. And he always wanted to go to the same restaurant, where kind of a small, inexpensive restaurant where obviously he was one of the regulars, and you'd buy him dinner. And from time to time you heard about him. And here's what happened. You get a call, and a man introduces himself as he's the lawyer for your Uncle Joe. And it turns out that a few months ago, Uncle Joe died. And you said, "What? My Uncle Joe died? What's that all about? What happened?" And he said, "You know what? I was his lawyer, and for years and years, I helped him with a lot of business. He did very, very well. He was a very smart businessman, and I encouraged him to, put his financial affairs in order and put a will together. And, he always said he was going to do so, but he didn't. And a few months ago, he suffered a heart attack, and he passed away. And we really didn't know whether he had a family or not. I mean, he had a few friends, and he certainly had business acquaintances, and he had a number of employees, but nobody knew if he had a family or what. Well, to make a long story very short, we worked very hard. We finally got into a safe deposit box, and there we found a handwritten will on a legal pad, and the names of his family, and the name of the family member he wanted to leave it all to. And your Uncle Joe was a multimillionaire. He actually was in the junkyard business before it became environmental recycling, and he certainly had an eye for real estate and opportunities, and he's left it all to you. But there's a catch to the story. Now I've got your attention. Now I'll tell you the rest of the story. What did Uncle Joe do for you? Well, here we go with the fun part. Again, please keep in mind this is certainly a make-believe story, but it could be, and it is, something true for you. What the lawyer says is Uncle Joe had millions and millions of dollars, and it turns out he was a very giving soul. So he's given a great deal of money away to some of the local charities, and even because he had no children of his own, very, very generous to a number of charities for children. Incredible. but He's left millions of dollars just to you. And you're surprised. What? Well, this is going to be nice. And the lawyer says, but there's a catch to it. Here's what he said. He said, you know what? I really admire my niece, nephew there. They really were trying to make it on their own. They didn't seek some comfort cubicle in some corporation. They didn't seek job security. They're out there trying to make it on their own. And the worst thing you can do to someone like that is to leave a bunch of money to them. It's liable to spoil them. And so, my friend, here's what he said. You one time said to him, Uncle Joe, if I could just get enough people to know about me and my business, I'd make it. He said with a smile, I'm calling his bluff. And he has bought you 3 60-second commercials for the Super Bowl. You can have your commercial. 150 million people may say it and see it, and you have 60 seconds 3 times to tell your story to over 100 million people. And that should help you make your business. I just bought you a 60-second commercial on Super Bowl Sunday. Dear nephew, niece, what are you going to do? Hey, that's my challenge to you. What if you had the opportunity? You have this career, you have these goods and services, you have this business. Are you wise and gentle? Sound makes the difference. And I'm going to tell you once again, is just as I'm telling this story, the commercials may grab your attention because of what you see, but they will sell and buy because of what you say. It's sound that sells. Pictures may attract. It's sound that closes the deal. So what would be your picture? What would be your story? And what would you say in 60 seconds so that people would come and buy from you and your business? You have 60 seconds to tell your story. What do you want to have happen when people see your commercial? And what are you going to tell them so that they will do what you want them to do? It's your turn in your town, and you're on. Now, what I'm going to do is in the next few days, I'm going to teach you how to create a 60-second Super Bowl commercial. And then I want you, even though you're not going to have one right now for real, you're going to have one right now to put in place on a podcast, on a video, on a website. Indeed, you will be telling people right now, I'm working on my Super Bowl commercial, and I'm going to show it to you real soon. What would you do? There we go. Under 20 minutes once again. I'm Stan Houston, RadioEdge77@gmail.com, RadioEdge77@gmail.com. As a Jesus entrepreneur, you're wise and gentle. And now put that together and create with God's Spirit an incredible 60-second message that will bring people to you, your business, and the offer you have for them. What would it be? What would it be like? Do you know how to start? Do you know what to do? I can help you. I can help you. I can help you right now, and I'm going to be helping you in the next few days as we go through how to do your Super Bowl commercial to sell and market and attract people to you and the good things you have to offer. I hope you'll join me. I'm Stan Houston, RadioEdge77 at gmail.com, RadioEdge77 at gmail.com, tcenglobal.org/contribute now. We are a nonprofit organization. This is free, and it's valuable for you, and we would appreciate if you'd do a little kindness for us and the work we do. Until our next version, our next story, in which I'm going to teach you the formula of how to write that commercial, I'm Stan Houston, the Christian Entrepreneur Network, the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. Bye for now.